Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me, here for episode 4 of GMG Friday. As you can see, I'm still not at home. We're on vacation, last day here, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind, so I'm thankful for those of you who have been patient with my slow content this week and my less than average quality content this week. Today is Friday, June 21st, and for the 20 of you who routinely watch this show, now on its 4th episode, I thank you for coming by. As always, today we're going to talk about 3 topics: a hot take, something I'm on the fence about, and something I've been impressed with this week in the sports world. The first thing we're going to discuss is this NBA trade. And it happened last night, and I think the overwhelming majority of people think that the Oklahoma City Thunder did it again. They robbed him. They pulled off the improbable. They offloaded some dead weight and got a real all-star on their team. And I think my hot take for this is both teams benefit. I think this was a good trade, period. I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder add a guy in the short term who can play defense, who can come off the bench, who can be a real role player, a real energizer. And that's what they need in terms of their next steps, their next goal, which would be to win a championship. We saw Josh Giddey fall off the face of the earth when Shea was bringing the ball up the court and kind of running the show, and not to mention his whole off-court issues with the minor girl, whatever that was, okay? And I think his world kind of came crashing down this year. And I think not only for OKC to get rid of that, but for him to get a change of scenery, I think that'll be great. So OKC, yes, I've given them an A for this trade. I think it's an awesome trade for them, a perfect trade for them. And people are thinking, well, it came at the expense of the Bulls. The Bulls lost this trade. The Bulls are the losers. How dare this franchise continue to make these choices that result in mediocrity and abysmal... Well, relax, okay? Josh Giddey's 21 years old. All right. Yes, they have Lonzo Ball. Yes, they have Kobe White. Yes, they lost a good veteran in Alex Caruso, but they're not going to win a championship next year. They weren't going to win a championship with Caruso. So let's look with an eye towards the future. If they can get Josh Giddey to sign after this year a solid contract, a decent contract, and dare I say a cheap contract, I think this is a great play. Do I think he pairs well with DeMar DeRozan? No. I think Josh Giddey is a guy who needs the ball in his hand. Is he going to be hitting a lot of threes? No. Do they need that on this team? Absolutely. So I think they need to do other things around this. If this trade is the end-all, be-all of the Chicago Bulls, then this is not a B trade. But I'm giving it a B for the Bulls with the expectation that they will continue to add pieces around Giddey and make moves that will make this more reasonable. That's my piece. That's my hot take. Moving on to more NBA news. For something I'm on the fence about, it's the Redick hire. And a few weeks ago, I got on here and said Dan Hurley got the job before we got the job. And we talked about it. And I was wrong. And Redick is now the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers with 0 coaching experience, which I don't think matters. People are going to talk about that. I think a guy who played in the league as long as he did, something of 13 years, was a real contender, understands the game, has still followed the game and been involved in the game. Coaching experience or not, I don't think it matters. He knows how to play basketball. He knows how to make a good team, make a good run. So that part I don't think needs to be discussed. But this is a guy who just called the NBA Finals, has a deal with ESPN, works for ESPN, was the host of, or is the host of, I don't know what to call it, because I think these podcasts are going to have to take a back seat to coaching. So much of a back seat, though, I think they're done. And that may be a bit of an overstep in terms of how I'm sizing this up. But I think his personal podcast and his podcast with LeBron are going to, at the very best or very worst, be scaled back tremendously. The point is, he's kind of throwing away, and I don't want to say throwing away, but he's changing paths completely. I mean, this is a guy who has, we'll call it a telecommunications prowess or prominence right now, and he's pursuing something else, which good for him, right? Like, this is why I'm kind of on the fence about it. Good for him. This is you don't apply to be the coach of the Lakers if you don't want to be the coach of the Lakers, okay? But I find it interesting that he seems to be enjoying his podcast. He seems to be enjoying the announcing and the work with ESPN, but at the same time, it appears as if he wants to pursue something maybe larger. Now, I also think that this means LeBron stays. There's been rumors about where's LeBron going? Is he leaving LA? Is he staying in LA? I cannot imagine that he leaves with this, considering that him and LeBron had a podcast together. They obviously have a good relationship. So I think that pretty much settles. Somebody's knocking somewhere. Like, somebody's right here on this door, just knocking. I think LeBron's staying. Sorry. I'm not going to cut that out. We're just going to leave it. I don't know. There must be hanging photos in the condo next door. I don't know. Absolutely bizarre. Okay. So overall, I'm on the fence. I think it's an interesting call. I think I can't focus. Good for JJ Redick. We'll see what comes of it. I wish him and LeBron and that team the best. We'll see. Kobe White is headed there, though. If you talk about Bulls moves, Kobe White's headed there. Just watch. Okay. Finally, my green of the week, my impressive of the week, my stop. I'm about to bang on the wall back. Golly. Okay. It's Jayson Tatum. Guys, it's time that we relax about Jayson Tatum. Okay. The memes have gone too far. No guy plays at the level he does and gets more backlash, hate, disrespect. And I'm exaggerating. I'm sure there are people historically who have. But I'm blown away that a guy can average 22, 8, and 7 in the finals, win MVP, and still be a laughingstock, right? These were his games, right? 31, 15, 31, 18, 16. Yes, they lost that game where he had 15. Nobody scored in that game, okay? So you can't look at anybody and say, well, Jaylen Brown went crazy. He didn't, okay? He's averaging three-quarters of a triple-double, and he's getting more hate online. Dude, stop knocking. I don't know what's going on. The point is, I hope you guys can hear that. The point is, okay, and to the 20 of you who watch this, I'm sorry. But thank you for sticking around. I'm about to put the mic over here so you can just hear this. Good for Jayson Tatum. MVP, putting up a good stat line. And this is not like he's on a team with a bunch of scrubs. Okay, he has guys all around him that can do it, which, yes, makes him play better. But also, it's harder to average these good of numbers when you have other guys on your team who need the ball in their hands. So that's the bottom line. I'm cutting this off, okay? If this is your first time watching the Green Beans Go Friday edition, sorry, okay? Hopefully you come back next week with a little bit better quality. We'll see you next time. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to go beat somebody up next door.